Hello everyone and welcome to this new video about poly modeling. In this video, we will see together how to modify a geometry, add vertices, edges and faces in order to model curved shapes. So we're going to display the drawing, and we were going to edit the magazine in order to make it look like the drawing, with this curved shape. So let's set a front view, so aligned on Y. And for that we remember that we have a shortcut, hold down the Alt key, orient the view and hop. The view is snapped along Y-axis. Then I'm going to switch to transparency view to be able to see the draw, and for that we can use Alt-Z shortcut. Then we switch to edit mode with the tabulation key, and we are ready for work. So what we're going to do first is move these four vertices, here, 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 and here, to make the object match the design a bit more. So I switch to vertices mode with the 1 key, and I select this vertex here, and this vertex here with the rect box, because with a single click it will only take the front vertex. Note by the way that, to be able to select a background vertices, like this one, you must be in transparency mode. There if I use the rect box I selected the 2 vertices. But if I had not been in transparency mode, let's start again, we can see that the vertex behind has not been selected. So we very often work in transparency mode. So let's continue. I select these 2 vertices, and I move them on ZX plane using the gizmo. And actually I don't even need to use the gizmo. I can use the G key since my view is perfectly aligned on the ZX plane. And we do the same for the 4 vertices. So now we will have to add vertices, that is to say subdivide the geometry to have new vertices there, which we can move to make them follow the curve. To achieve this, there are several methods. First I'm going to show you the knife tool, whose shortcut is the K key. This tool allows us to split faces by cutting them in half, like this, from one edges to another, or from one vertex to another. So we have created new vertices. But we also need to have one on the other side, so I'm going to cut out my object on the other side as well. But in fact what we are doing is not very good. With software like Blender, we can create faces like this one, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 vertices. But in fact, a 3D model can only have faces with 3 vertices, that is to say triangles. That is a mathematical rule. A face must be flat, and having more than 3 edges does not prevent a face not to be flat. That's why when you load an STL into a software that isn't a real editor like a 3D slicer, you see all the square faces have been split in half, because actually a square face doesn't exist. A face is necessarily a triangle. But modeling with triangles would be really laborious and not very logical for our Cartesian spirit, so 3D editors allows us to work with face with any number of vertices. But by convention, we model with 4 vertices faces, what we call polygons. But we keep in mind these polygons will be split in 2 like that after export. And there we have a 6 vertices face, what is called an n-gon. We'll talk about n-gon later, but most of the time it's not good because with so many vertices, we have absolutely no control over how the face will then be cut into a triangle. It's very, very dirty. So when we cut faces, we try to do it this way, creating what we call an edge loop. An edge loop is a segment which starts at a place, goes all around our object, and which goes back here to close the loop like that. To make loops very quickly there is obviously a tool made for that. So I cancel all that. And we'll look for these tool in the edge menu. Since this tool cuts edges, it is located in the edges menu. And here it is called loop cut and slide. So I'm going to switch to edge mode with the 2 key and I use the shortcut for loop cut and slide which is Ctrl R. So I press Ctrl R and there we can see a yellow edge loop. We can cut edges either horizontally by cutting the vertical edges, or conversely cut the horizontal edges to create a vertical loop. So in this case, we want to cut these edges, so we're going to create a horizontal loop. Then with the mouse wheel we can set how many loops we will add. So if I turn the wheel down there will be less loop, and if I turn the wheel up there will be more loop. So we are going to create 5 loops. That seems good to me. And once we are done we validate with the left mouse click. So we just did the loop cut part. So now Blender let us slide the loop we just created. Well, we don't really need to slide anything. So with a right click we can skip this step. It will distribute the loops in a balanced way. And there you go. Now we have our new topology, and therefore, if I switch to vertices mode with the 1 key, I will be able to move them. So I align the view again on Y-axis. Then I can select vertices and position them to create a curve, following the draw. And there you go. We can now quit edit mode. We go back to normal display, and here we have a magazine much closer to what a bulb magazine looks like. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching it, and see you soon.